This week on MotoMan, I draw a line from the man himself to the Bentley of today. Riddle me this. What's been around for almost 100 years, has had 3 owners since new, yet keeps to its founder's principles of how to build cars? I'll give you one guess. So what makes a Bentley a Bentley? Tradition, speed, craftsmanship? I would argue all of the above. Let's take a look at the first. Aircraft engineer and member of the most excellent order of the British Empire, Walter Owen Bentley, also known as W.O., founded a car company bearing his own name in 1919, and he set about doing things a bit odd for the time, like developing engines with 2 spark plugs and 4 valves per cylinder, using aluminum in their construction, and designing the cylinder heads with a hemispherical shape. Putting it all together, W.O. and his boys won the 24 Hours of Le Mans 5 times between 1920 and 1930. And then at the onset of the Great Depression, a couple of guys by the name of Charles and Henry came a-calling and bought the company. And from 1931 to about 2002, most Bentleys, with a couple of notable exceptions, were nothing more than rebadged Rolls-Royces. Fast forward to 2012 and this GTC, and all of a sudden we have Bentleys worthy of W.O.'s signature. You see, back in 1998, the Volkswagen Group acquired Bentley. And over the past 14 years, Wolfsburg has been teaching Britain about Audi interiors and Bugatti engineering. This is one of those cases where beauty is indeed more than skin deep. The entire underside of the car is covered with aerodynamic ducting to channel air from the front to a rear diffuser that's more Hethel than Crew to get you to a top speed of 195 miles an hour with the top down. Let's put Bentley aside. Bonded and extruded aluminum, boron or high-strength steel. The debate between using these 2 metals in automobile construction has been raging since Walter Owen's been running the place. Excluding the usual good, fast, or cheap justifications, why would you use one metal over the other? Gene and I are going to conduct a scientific experiment. We have 1 piece of steel. We also have 1 piece of aluminum. Both are exactly the same dimensions.
I would like to check those dimensions.
What, you don't trust my cutting skills?
Well, I'm not sure. You don't spend too much time in the shop.
By all means.
Have a tape measure. We'll measure them both. This is the steel bar, and the length is 23.5.
Okay.
And the aluminum bar, 23.5.
Told you so.
Oh, we're not done. 1 inch wide the aluminum bar is, and the steel bar is 1 inch wide. Let's check the width. 1/4 of an inch thick. The aluminum bar is also 1/4 of an inch thick.
Not too shabby with a saw.
Not too bad. I'm impressed.
Now, there will be a weight difference, correct?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So let's try the steel first.
Yeah, that's a 1-pounder.
And the aluminum?
It doesn't even move the scale.
Doesn't even register.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've determined the same dimensions, but much different in weight. Now, this is where our experiment gets a little bit interesting. We're going to use our fancy-dancy and rather menacing fish scale to see how many pounds of pressure it takes to bend the metal.
Well, you don't spend a lot of time in a restoration shop. You're going to be surprised at how much it takes to bend a steel bar.
I think I'm up to the task.
I'd like to see that.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's see if you've been working out.
Let me tell you something.
MotoMan versus steel.
I truly am the man of steel.
We'll call you Iron Man when it's over.
Here we go. And we're up to 40. Almost 50. 50. 55.
Oh, that's about it, huh?
And then we got it. Look at that. Look at that.
55 pounds.
Didn't think I could do it. Care to place any bets?
I'm going to bet it takes less poundage to bend the aluminum than the steel.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, look at
20, barely even 30. Just a shade over 30.
that. Yeah. All right.
And the final tally?
Okay, let's see what we've got. The steel bar is 3.5 inches, the highest point.
And aluminum?
Aluminum is 3.5 inches also.
But here's the difference. 55 pounds for the steel,
Right.
and just a shade around 40 for the aluminum.
Right, to do the same work. Let's get back to our Bentley example. The front end of this car is deceiving. The shape of the wing looks very simple, but it's not. This is a triple compound curve in here, and it's very difficult to achieve, and more so with steel than with aluminum. And it has this very sharp, very pronounced crease that goes right through the top of the crown of the fender and all the way around the car. It's very difficult in steel, and it's easier in aluminum, and it allows the designer to achieve his vision. And that's why this is steel and this is aluminum.
Looks like a GTC, doesn't it? Well, you'd be wrong. It's been inspired by the Mulsanne straight at Le Mans. Remember that old footage of classic race car drivers darting across the road to get in their cars? Well, some of them had a distinct built-in advantage. A starter on the left side of the steering wheel. So, why would you want a smart key when you can have tradition? All-wheel drive is a fantastic technology. One ride with Hurley in a GT3 and you quickly realize that rear-wheel drive still has its advantages. But changes are brewing in the world of cars driving all four wheels. The all-wheel drive system does things just a tad bit differently. Instead of 50% of the power to the front and 50% of the power to the rear, now the majority of the power goes to the rear, like a proper GT car should. This is something shared with Bentley's corporate cousins, the Audi S Series and the Lamborghini Aventador. So here's an interesting tidbit. This Anglo-German car is designed to run on fuel grown in either the US or Brazil. Now, I've tried this experiment in a Buick and I got about a 10% hit in MPG, but in this 567 horsepower 12-cylinder engine, whether I'm running premium or ethanol, I can go 11 miles per imperial gallon.
I found something under here that only a detail freak like MotoMan could appreciate. It's the beautiful welding on the subframe at the rear of the car. The rear subframe holds the differential and rear axle assembly and suspension to the rest of the chassis. And the welding is just magnificent. It's beyond aerospace quality. And the shocking thing about it is that it's in a place where no one's ever going to see it. It's as beautiful as the exterior of the car.
Truth be told, much like any red-blooded American male, I had pictures of cars splattered all over my wall when I was growing up. Granted, I was too cheap to go out and buy car posters. Instead, I ripped out pictures from car magazines. But now that I've spent some time with a car inspired by W.O. himself, I think I want to go back in time, visit that childhood bedroom, and change some of the pictures. I thought you went to fame when you were living in the Bronx.
I think we can do Hamlet easier.
Ta-da!
Da, 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 da.
Wow, look at the machine finish on all of the engine mount. Incredible. This is what you pay 200 grand for, not the top. Life a bit complicated? Can't afford a therapist? Economy got you down? May I suggest the original stress reducer? Power tools. Sure, you can get dubs on your Bentley. 21s, thank you very much. But if you want the latest in bling, It's all gas caps these days. You know, when I was growing up and had posters of Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and hand-built British sports cars on my wall, I knew I'd grow up and have one day. I just didn't know it would be purple.